What is a sales funnel? How do you build one? And what does it even look like to have a sales funnel for your online business? Lucky you, I'm sharing an exclusive training with you. I first filmed what you're about to watch as an introductory lesson about sales funnels for my mastermind clients. These are people just like you that are learning how to automate parts of their sales process. They are freelancers, personal brands, service providers, thought leaders, coaches, and aspiring digital product creators. If you want to automate or semi-automate parts of your sales process so you can scale up, but you don't know where to start, then this is for you. What you're about to learn is the introductory or the foundation of what I've used to help my clients do things like launch their first digital products to tiny lists and still have 5-figure launches. This has helped my clients grow their email lists and pre-qualify leads so that they don't have to do all of that heavy lifting themselves. And most importantly, it helps them free up time so they can focus on other things in their business. Because if you want to be able to make more of an impact, you need to start by automating your sales process. If you're new here, hey, I'm Jill Wise, a messaging strategist, growth mentor, and copywriter. And sales funnels are kind of my thing. I've seen on the back end of so many over the years for all different types of businesses as I helped clients build them, iterate, and grow from there. So if you need an introduction to what a sales funnel is and how you can build one, then you are in the right place. Now, before we switch over to watching the training that you would normally only get to see if you were one of my mastermind clients, I want to know about you. So if you could let me know in the comments what it is that you do, what your business is, and what your number one goal is that you're working on, that would be fantastic. And make sure you watch the training all the way to the end, because not only is it good, but I'm going to meet you back here so I can tell you all about a tool that I have that is going to help you build your first sales funnel. And this is especially important if you want to sell digital products, but it will also help you if you sell services too. Okay, so let's watch the training, get ready to take some notes, and I will see you afterwards. We talk about funnels. That's just a fancy way of saying that we want to talk about how people buy things and then stick around. So what is that lifetime customer journey for you and your business? How are you going to guide them through the process? First, maybe manually, and then how can you automate it later, or for different types of offers that you have within your business. So that's really all it is that we're saying when we say funnel. It could be a pipeline funnel. People use them interchangeably. Often when we think of funnels now, most of us will picture a slow funnel, which is a self-liquidating offer funnel, or some kind of evergreen funnel for a digital product, because that's where people are like talking about them more so. But it really applies to any way that people come into your business and buy something. That is a funnel. So your lifetime customer journey is where we start. And that could look something like this. They find your virtual party and they like it. So that means that they'll follow you, they might subscribe, and they overall are checking out to see what you're all about and if they align with what you have to say. Then the next step would be maybe that they purchase a mini offer to test things, or maybe they get on a discovery call, do some kind of consult, or they start with a low ticket digital product or an audit or that kind of thing just to see what is up in your world. Then maybe they move to grab a high ticket investment spot. So that could be working with you one-on-one, done for you. If you have digital products or one-to-many offers, that could be joining something like a mastermind, coaching, that kind of thing. And then ideally, after all of that, they stick around for even more solutions. So your ideal customers aren't going to be one and done. You want to keep serving them to maximize that retention. And that is truly, I think, where businesses see the most difference, because you have these loyal customers that will stay with you and become even easier to serve, and you can keep layering more and more on top of that. So this is like the basis of your funnel. This is like the idea of it. How do we get people to find you and buy things and then stick around? And like I said, it starts manually at first, but we can automate parts of that. So a typical funnel in another way is we think of our free content, we think of an opt-in, we might upsell them, and then we go to a high ticket. It does not need to be more complicated than that. And I'm going to show you some examples to help you picture it, because I think that if you see these maps, then it'll be easier for you to start thinking about how you can map out your own funnels, or how you already have, and maybe you're just not talking about it in this way. And then in the future, how you can start to automate parts of the process. So this is a funnel. This one is what is common for done-for-you services, or maybe like a mastermind, group coaching program, that kind of thing. So they might find you through organic social traffic. They find you on Instagram or Threads or LinkedIn or wherever it is that you hang out. They go to your link in your bio, they go over to your services page, and then they go to your contact or application form. From there, you get on a sales call. Maybe they purchase a website, or maybe they purchase a brand strategy and website, or they don't purchase. So those are the options that you have here. If they purchase something, then great, you get on with working with them. And if they don't purchase something, maybe you have some kind of downsell that's available. So maybe instead of them getting a full website design, you can offer them a website template. Or maybe instead of going for a full website copywriting project, they do a day reservation instead where you optimize what they've already written. So that could be a downsell. This would be an email follow-up, maybe a separate proposal, but this is basically the map of a simple funnel. And this is another kind of funnel. So maybe people come in from paid advertising, whether that's on Meta or Google. Maybe they come from your organic search traffic for your website. They go to your opt-in, they get an email sequence, and your email sequence offers them something. Maybe the opt-in, for example, is a launch copy checklist of everything that they need to know before they are going to launch a product. And then the offer is actually creating their launch collateral for them. They could decide if they're going to purchase, they get an email sequence, or they don't purchase and they get an email sequence. The purchase one email sequence could be upselling them something else. And then even after that, maybe it's going to upsell them something else. If they don't purchase, it could get an email sequence that gets them ready for a downsell, so a lower ticket offer. So if we were using the example of a launch copy checklist and the main offer being a full launch package where they have all of the collateral, the upsell could be like, we are going to also do the analytics afterwards and help you refine as you go, manage all of the pieces as you're launching. So that could be an upsell. A downsell could be, okay, well, you don't want us to do the whole entire launch, but we can do one piece of the launch. So maybe we're going to write your sales page only, or we'll design your sales page only. So that would be a downsell. And this is also a funnel. So this is the one that we often traditionally think of when we think of a funnel. And this is for digital product offer. They could come from paid ad traffic. They could come from organic social, maybe guesting on podcasts and blogs, your website visitors organically from your blog SEO. And then all of them get funneled into your main opt-in. That opt-in will then have a tripwire, which is a self-liquidating mini offer. Self-liquidating means that it's only available for that certain time. Commonly that's 24 hours. Sometimes it's even shorter, like an hour. And then often these funnels will also have a checkout bump. So instead of, for example, in mine, they have a $7 self-liquidating mini offer at the checkout. They can add on an extra, I think it's $27, something like that, so that the total customer value immediately goes up as soon as they add on that bump. And if they purchase both of these, they could get a limited time upsell on the confirmation page. If they do purchase, they'll go into a certain email sequence. And if they don't purchase, they will go into another email sequence. The goal of both is to still get an upsell, still increase that lifetime customer value. And then from there, once they've gone through all of these different sequences, there is the potential to have segmented follow-ups. So people who purchase all of these would go into a different segment than those who only grab the one thing. Or maybe how mine is set up, how I'm working on making it even more robust and automating more parts of this process is based on their flow throughout my website. So I have my $7 tripwire with a checkout bump and then an upsell on the confirmation page. The email sequence offers them something else. And then if people are clicking around on my template shop, if they visit my website pages a certain amount of times, it's going to trigger another automation for each page visit view, each tag that's added, depending on how many times they have viewed that page. So, for example, if they are looking at my website copy templates, but they're not buying and they've gone to this page 6 times, but less than 15 times, it's going to start an automated sequence that's encouraging them to purchase. Because clearly they've expressed interest, they keep going to the page, but something is holding them back. So this is how I can segment those follow-ups. I'm not going to send everyone on my list promotions for the website copy templates, but I will send those people who keep looking at it but aren't buying. Other segmented follow-ups could be like your abandoned cart sequences. That's a good one too, to recover those people who are so close to buying and for some reason they don't. And often it's just because they get distracted, they forget. Like how often have you been shopping and then you're like, wait, I need to get up and go get my credit card. Like I'm not getting up right now. And then you forget about it. So that's how this kind of funnel can work. This one obviously is a lot more robust than the ones that are back here. These ones make more sense for done for you. They could be the same for digital products. It kind of depends. But the whole idea is that you get to shape what that map is. And these are just examples. And your goal is to decide what makes the most sense for your customers and your audience and put together something that will guide them through the process, considering their stage of awareness and just what it is that they really need and how you can help. So this is where knowing the buying journey and the stages of awareness is important. So people will go through this process as they are making purchasing decisions. First, they are problem aware, then they're going to be solution aware, then they're going to consider what they need to solve their problem. So maybe they're comparing your solution to somebody else's. Then they're going to make a decision. And then there's the customer retention. So like, how can we get them coming back for more? And then the pieces of your funnel will help guide them through those stages of awareness. So if we go back to this page, your free content will hit them at their problem aware, and then maybe they're solution aware and they're searching for these types of solutions. And then maybe they're considering whether they're going to work with you or somebody else. So they go to your opt-in. That's going to help get them to the next stage of their journey. And then in here, you can offer to sell them something, and then maybe they move to high ticket. So all of your pieces of your funnel need to move them to the next stage of their journey. And a note for here is that each stage of your funnel should help them get to that next stage. And that is including the pieces where they're like actually purchasing something from you and continuing to work with you. That's where the customer retention comes in. So like, what do you need to give them in order to shape their beliefs and help them get a transformation and help them feel comfortable to purchase something from you and then keep coming back for more? And I think I mentioned this is true of like your blog content, your social content, anything that is actually already in your world. Like everything that you are doing should try to set them up to be ready for the next spot. Okay, so where do you start mapping out your funnels? This is how I would have you actually take those examples and make one for yourself. First is decide the end game. So what do you want to sell more of? Often each new offer or each offer type needs its own funnel. So your end game is your core offer. So if you want to sell a high ticket coaching offer, well, then you're probably going to need a new funnel for that compared to if you are selling a low ticket membership. Those buyers are different types of buyers and they need different information to get to the next stage. Now, your lower ticket offers could be part of your larger funnel to get people to that higher ticket, or people might come in kind of from the side and they need something else that they get first before they join into like that high ticket. So if we're using a membership as an example, maybe there's one lead magnet that goes to a membership. That membership could funnel up to a higher ticket. However, somebody might come in who's more fit for that high ticket one-on-one coaching, and they need something to make them feel comfortable to first join into your one-on-one coaching. Maybe that's just a sales call. Maybe it's specific types of pillar content. Maybe it's a masterclass where they can vet you and see that you know what you're talking about and you can help them. Whatever it is, you get to decide what that is, but it's going to be different than the lead magnet that converts somebody or the trigger that converts somebody to your low ticket. The next thing you need to do is dig into your customer beliefs. So what does your ideal customer need to believe about you, themselves, and the world in order to invest in your core offer? With something like selling a big custom done for you website project, they need to feel like their business is worthy of that investment. They need to feel like they're ready for that. They need to feel like it's going to give them a true ROI. So how can you shape their beliefs before they invest in order to get them to invest? So if we were talking about website projects, maybe that is, of course, done in a sales call. That is common, but maybe it's putting out content that's like, here's how your website can help you. Maybe it's putting together case studies of how you've helped other businesses make more money because they had a properly designed website that is like functional for them, is user-friendly, actually communicates their value and that kind of thing. And then finally, you need to start to outline what their journey is going to be. So shape that journey for them. Outline what your ideal person needs first and then next in order to facilitate the transformation that you promise. Always considering the stages of the buying journey. So before they find you versus when they've already bought in and how you're going to keep them around afterwards. And then the part where it gets really fun is the fact that that journey can be automated most of the time, at least partially, while still personalizing the process, especially because there's such cool things that you can do with tech now that even if you thought that maybe it couldn't be automated before, it probably at least can be semi-automated now. But often we think of funnels and we think, oh, I need all that tech first, but you really don't. You can do a lot of this manually first and then start to automate pieces of that. So if we go back to this really simple funnel that is common for done-for-you services, Originally, a lot of this work might have been heavy lifting. So your social traffic, maybe you didn't have a link in your bio if you were one of those elder freelancers and we were just talking to people in the DMs, and maybe you had to send them your services page. And then from there, they would fill out a contact form, but you had to manually follow up with them. But now, because there's tools like Dubsado and Honeybook, you can actually like automate those email replies, say certain things in those automated emails so that people will book a sales call with you. And you can even automate parts of the process after your sales call where they check yes or no to offer A or B in your proposal. So that stuff can come secondary. For now, the goal is just to like create the map for yourself. Once you have that map, you can decide what tech tools will help you actually automate that journey. Okay, so to summarize this, to outline your funnel, you're going to decide the audience segment out of your main ideal clients that you want to reach. Then you are going to get really clear on the offer and the transformation that you want to sell with this specific funnel. Then when I say map the customer journey, that's just looking back at the examples that I gave you, deciding what each step is in their journey. You can also choose your success metrics. So what does it mean if somebody has like successfully moved through the funnel? Is it just that they purchase your low ticket offer and it ends there? Or is it that they move all the way through and then they book a secondary project? Then, of course, we want to build it, launch, and keep refining. And all of those things I'm happy to help you. So hopefully this gives you some direction to start outlining your... Welcome back. I hope that you found that helpful. Like I said, this is just introductory and there is so much more you can learn about sales funnels. And you can get more specific whether you want to sell digital products or coaching offers or regular services. It works for all of them and you're just going to customize the strategy depending on what it is that you want to sell. Now, if you want some help with building your first sales funnel or optimizing one that maybe isn't working how you want it to, there's two ways I can help you. First, if you are a go-getter in the DIY type and you feel like you have the information you need to get started, then you want to check out the digital product sales pack. This is a template pack that includes all of the pieces that you need in order to launch and sell and market ongoing your first digital product. It even includes a self-liquidating offer template, which if you watched the training in full, then you would see that is one of the sales funnels that you could create. Alternatively, my intensives are good for custom support. So this is good if you don't have a sales funnel yet and you want help coming up with the strategy to automate parts of your sales process so that you can run with that and build it. It's really heavy on personalizing a strategy to fit your business, your life, your goals, your marketing style, and all of those things. This is also good if you have a sales funnel that was working before, but maybe it's not working as well now, or you tried to build one and it just hasn't ever performed how you really want it to. And we can work together to find the gaps and optimize it overall to max those conversions for you. There's links for both in the comments below. As always, you are welcome to leave questions in the comments and I will do my best to get to them. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I wish you the best as you get started building your sales funnel.